How we're gonna do this is just we're just gonna jump into it. All right. Um. Well, 4-1, 4-1. A Neymar-less PSG wrecking through a full strength Barcelona. What are your thoughts, Abdullah?
Well, I mean, full squad or not, we got dominated, absolutely dominated. To be honest with you, like when I watched the first half, I thought to myself, you know what? Like we had sections of the half that we could have scored in, that could have turned the game on its head then and there, but we didn't take those chances. Obviously, chances like Griezmann's, Dembele's in the first half, and from there the game just completely shifted from Barcelona being in the game and having chances to complete dominance from Paris Saint-Germain, and that continued further on and on and on in the second half. And then you go on and look, and you think to yourself, it's the 60th minute, the 70th minute. Coman has not made any changes in the team, nothing. He has Ricky, Trincao. He's got a lot of players on the bench that have been fantastic lately that could make an impact. And what does Coman do? Waits until the 70th minute to sub on these three guys, and
What do you
PSG
think
completely
about
ran
the
past us.
first half? Because like, let's just slow down there. I totally understand your sentiments. The scoreline is somewhat one-sided. However, if someone watched the first half and then slept, right, and they woke up tomorrow morning, I think they would be surprised.
I
Uh,
agree.
Given that I thought personally Barcelona were the better team, except for the jitters in the first 10 minutes. Um, PSG like that through ball, Verratti gave for Mbappe, and he ran through, and I thought, oh, that could be a long night. But then Barcelona settled their nerves. So what was the big difference between the first half and the second half?
The big difference is the team's mentality in both halves. And I think that's been something that I've lately noticed around the team, especially in the last Sevilla game as well, is when we miss crucial chances in the first half or chances that could have turned the game and we concede right after it, the team immediately notices a dip and in form that's like
Yeah.
leaves the team like vulnerable for extra goals and a collapse. And that's what happened. In the first half, Barcelona were pressing, they had chances, they felt confident going forwards. PSG were not really that threatening except for a few chances in the first 30 minutes. So they had that confidence going forward. But then once PSG figured out that, you know what, yeah, Barcelona created a few chances, but they're not really a threat. Let's actually go and press them and see what they're made out of. And we saw what happened later on when PK got pressed, when Dest was completely dribbled past easily, Langley making mistakes. It's just a complete collapse in confidence, and the fact that Ronald Koeman waited until that long to make changes just shows you the state of this club at the moment. To be honest, I'm out of words.
So let's talk about Sergino Dust for a second. He's been a very hot and cold signing this season. At moments, you think, all right, we found our Dani Alves replacement after 10 years or like 5 years, right? And then other moments, you're like, why did we sell Nelson Semedo?
Exactly. It's a tricky situation with this, to be honest. It's a tricky situation because before the injury, he was actually performing well, and we saw his debut in the El Clasico, the way he was calm and
Oh,
composed on
he
the
was
ball.
very good in the El
Exactly.
Clasico.
He was incredible in that Clasico. Showed a lot of promising signs, and to do it in a game like that just goes on to say how much of a promising talent he is, and that shows his true mettle. To do it in a game like that. So that's why a lot of Barcelona fans got hyped up and saw Alves in him. But following the injury, he hasn't really played that much. Minguez has been playing right back
Yeah.
for most of these games, and Dest has just come back from injury, and Coman puts him in the starting lineup against PSG because there's not really much options. Either play a right back there or play Mingueza there, and also starting PK, who's just returned from a 3-month injury as well. So common mistakes here and there by Coman that led to the collapse of
What's
this team.
what's your thoughts on that on Piqué starting? Because I know Barcelona fans were, including yourself, as I talked to you before the game, they were kind of torn apart. Some wanted Menges to start there. Some wanted Araujo to start there. However, it ended up being Gerard Piqué. What are your thoughts?
I was against PK starting from the beginning, but I heard the other opposite side saying that he's an experienced defender. We need him for a big game
Yeah,
like that because we don't have Ronald Araujo, who obviously would have been the starting option for us if he was fit. And looking at the recent Barcelona performances when Araujo has played, keeping multiple clean sheets with him, and you see a stark difference when he doesn't start. But PK coming back and being thrust right into the lineup against Paris Saint-Germain in a game this important, I think, was a massive gamble from Coman that obviously did not pay off.
but out of all the defenders we've talked so far, perhaps none of them had a terrible game as Hamat Longley. How bad was he today?
Horrible. No, no.
Shades of Byron all over again from him.
Complete collapse, complete shambles, Langley today. He's been horrible. Like, he's been horrible this season. I haven't seen a decline of a player, of a center back in our team since Umtiti like that. Even Umtiti has not been that bad. Like, you see Langley last season, even the season before that, and you look at that defender, you look at his time at Sevilla, and you see a quality defender, maybe someone that can actually be world class one day. But this season, he's completely dropped the ball. Mistakes left and right in big games. Like, and it's not just regular mistakes that are forced by the opposition being good. It's dumb mistakes that cost us the game. Stupid, silly mistakes that when you look at as a fan and as a journalist or whatever you are watching football, you look at that and you think to yourself, what was he thinking? Like, you're on a yellow card. There's a lot of situation. You're on a yellow. The player is close in the box. Why are you pulling his shirt? So many incidents, and you're baffled. You can't explain it. You're a professional footballer. You play for FC Barcelona. How can you commit mistakes like that repeatedly, back to back in big games, when he's shown quality in the past? How can you have such a massive dip in form like that? It's insane.
You talked about earlier about Ronald Koeman waiting too long to make those substitutions of Mingueza, Pjanic, Puig, and Trincao. Do you reckon he should have made it after the PSG's second goal went in?
I think so, yeah. I think should have been at least before the 60th minute. PSG made their changes in between the halves, and it was a draw by
They
then.
did.
They weren't losing. They made their changes. Two subs in, Herrera and who was it?
They
Who
just
came
did
on in between
just
the halves,
Herrera.
and immediate changes in between the halves. And Coman just sat back and watched the team collapse until the 70th minute, until he brought on Ricky and Trincao, who created the chances and could have scored potential, could have scored again. Multiple chances at the end. Griezmann's chance when Keylor Navas messed up. A lot of opportunities that Barcelona could have maybe brought themselves back into the game, but
Yeah.
missing chances again. And of course, Ronald Koeman, no changes in the 70th minute. The Valverde syndrome is what I call that. And we saw that with Setien. We saw that with Setien also, waiting until the 70th minute to make changes. And we thought with Koeman, he's learned from that mistake. Obviously, he started that way this season. Then we saw signs of improvement, bringing on changes earlier. And
Yeah.
now it's back to the same old shit, I guess, if you pardon my words.
We can definitely understand your feelings and expressions. I want to highlight on the young guy Pedri, because for a lot of these for a lot of the English speaking football world, they probably haven't heard or seen Pedri play a lot because they don't necessarily follow the Spanish football. Now this guy has been the breakout star at Barcelona, even though Ansu Fati had that first month in September. After that, in FC Barcelona, it's just been Pedri, right? He's been the guy that's been linking up with Griezmann and Messi ever so well. Just highlight his first half performance because I thought he was pretty good. And out of the midfielders that were taken off him and Busquets, I thought he should have stayed on longer. I thought maybe De Jong should have gone off because apart from winning that dodgy penalty, which we'll get to, I didn't see an impact from De Jong.
No, I see the point, but because Koeman had to remove Busquets later on, Koeman had De Jong was the better of the two and had to stay on. I thought personally that Koeman was going to take out Dembele instead of Pedri. to bring out the
Oh,
subs that he
yeah,
made,
that yeah.
because Dembele had a poor performance by his standards in the last few games. He's been actually solid. Defensive work rate has been amazing lately. Attacking, creating chances, always being a threat on the wings. But today we didn't see that. We saw him very lethargic, even not pressing as much in the box in chances where he could have covered. A few mistakes in even the goals where he could have pressed a little more and cut some passing lanes for the PSG guys, but he didn't. And a lot of issues happened with Dembele. He should have been subbed off. But yeah, like um, Pedri had a decent first half. He was solid, created multiple chances for Messi. He was linking up solid, like you said, with the rest. But we were getting outpossessed by Paris Saint-Germain even in the first half. We did. I don't think at any point in the game we had most of the possession until maybe the first 30 minutes we did. But after that, I thought PSG dominated most of the possession. So even then, Pedri was out of the game after that, and so was the rest of the team after that second goal.
But you would think with the two midfielders like De Jong and Busquets, whose expertise lie on keeping possession, that they would do better.
True, but it didn't happen. Verratti had us in his back pocket today.
Now let's like just go over the forwards once more. You mentioned Dembele had a bad game. I would disagree there. I thought he had a pretty good game, uh, except for missing that one chance. Shades of Liverpool all over again. Uh, but I thought he had a great game. I thought he was constantly running at defenders. It's a very interesting thing that something that Arsene Wenger said before the game in the Bein studio. He said that Griezmann and Dembele are two players that like the ball to their feet, right? With Griezmann, I see it so often where he's just waiting for the ball to be given to him so he can take the shot. But today I saw Dembele playing as an out and out right winger, making those runs, and he was never fed through. He, always the safer option of a pass was played. Is this a pattern that you've seen often this season at Barcelona?
I see the point that you're making, and I disagree a bit on it because this season Dembele in particular has been playing that style of waiting for the ball to be given to him rather than making the runs. And today I did see glimpses of him making runs, and obviously he didn't receive any passes. The same thing happened with Griezmann at the beginning. When he came in, he was making the runs, but he was being
Yeah.
ignored. And after a while, he learned to kind of adapt his game to come short and ask for the ball and try to link up with Messi rather than make the runs because of the style that we're playing at. Unfortunately, the style that Barcelona play in the build-up is very slow, and there is no real directness in the team. So you have to do that. You have to come short if you're a winger at Barcelona now. There is no overlapping a lot of the time, except if it's Jordi Alba. So the wingers have a lot of duty in terms of helping link up with Messi and open up spaces. But yeah, I did see him making runs today, but it is a pattern at Barcelona. The players had to change their style of play from making runs to coming short and doing what they did, similar to Griezmann earlier.
Well, Barcelona's best player was unsurprisingly Lionel Messi. But apart from the initial 30 minutes that Lionel Messi and co had, including the penalty, do you reckon there was something else he could have done more?
Uh, it's another one of those games where you think to yourself like, what more can a single player do to help a team in this situation when Langley is committing mistakes like that, when the team is collapsing in the manner like that the team is collapsing in similar games. What can Messi do more than create a bunch of chances and hope that the players capitalize on them, or score his penalty that he got and hope that the rest of the team does their job? I don't see any blame towards Messi today. In fact, like he broke the record today. He tied Raul's record in scoring for 17 consecutive calendar years in the Champions League from
Oh, wow.
2015, from 2005 to 2021, tying Raul's record. So he has been scoring in the knockout stages. He has 28 goals in 31 games, especially in the round of 16. So he has done his job. He has done his part. The rest of the team, I feel, let us down today. There were a few players who had good performances in the first half, but apart from that, in the second half, it was just me watching Paris Saint-Germain create chance after chance and hoping that, Ter Stegen, save us, please. And That's basically what it
And
is.
there
And
wasn't much he could do with a lot of those goals.
yeah, and then you see the Ter Stegen agenda on Twitter, with the Barca fans hating on Ter Stegen and calling for his head and asking him, calling him out. And in big games, he always does that, concedes a lot of goals when he saved us from 4 or 5 clear chances today. If it wasn't for
He
Ter
had
Stegen, it
some
would have been
great,
wider.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
true.
what are you talking about?
Let's move on to the Paris Saint-Germain team for a second. I will get to this star man of today, Kylian Mbappe, in just a while. But let's talk about the other two strikers, Icardi and Moise Kean. What did you think about their chemistry? I thought they were brilliant on the field today, especially Moise Kean. Now, this is a man being pushed around the top five leagues. He was in Serie A, then he got into Premier League, and when he was brought here to PSG, no one thought that this guy would be starting in a round of 16 tie against Barcelona and scoring, nevertheless. And he's done that, and I thought he was probably PSG's second best attacker, if not even PSG's second best player. He was very efficient. His build-up play, his ability to hold the ball and pass it around to the midfielders, and wait for Icardi to make that run to hold up the ball for him. I thought that was amazing from him. However, Icardi, did you see the chance he missed, or
Yeah,
the one that he passed up?
or the one that Pedri cleared out.
What was he thinking? What was he thinking? You we sing praises of Moise Kean right now and after today's game. How's Icardi better? How's Icardi starting at the number 9 spot? Shouldn't that be Moise Kean, and shouldn't they be bringing another winger in?
It should be, but Icardi has that experience and veteran status to him. Like he's a
He's
proved goal
he's he's
scorer.
ju- he's 26 or something. He's not a veteran. He's not
No,
he's
no,
not he's
not
not an
not too
Edison
veteran.
Cavani, or I understand Moise Kean might be like a relatively fresher face at this stage, but like Icardi hasn't done anything to cement his name and status. He's just his wife and him have just made big news, big talk in Serie A, and now they've come over to like PSG, and it's there's not like a lot that's happened otherwise.
No, I'm not saying he's like super experienced, but I'm saying compared to Moise Kean, he's more experienced and he's played for multiple clubs. He scored a lot of goals for Inter. He was once touted as Argentina's next big striker at one point. I mean, he's declined since then. I
Yet he
agree,
doesn't
but
play
he's
for
still he's
Argentina a
still
lot.
yeah, true, and
A
that's because
conversation
of a
we'll
lot
get
of
into later.
oh.
That's some politics by a certain captain at
Oh,
Argentina.
oh no. This is not the time for this.
Certain best friends with someone who Icardi's current wife was married to.
I mean, even if that didn't happen, Icardi's style for Argentina didn't work. Like Sampaoli
Argentina has
tried.
no style.
Yeah, at the moment they kind of do. They kind of do now under
They
Scaloni.
haven't had a style since 2006. Let's be fair. All right. Um,
Aboud, how's it going, man?
So man, yeah,
It's been a while, man. How's everything?
yeah, it's been ages. It's
Yeah, man.
a lot of things have happened, and
Yeah, man.
maybe it's actually good that we haven't talked that long. You know why?
Maybe.
It's good I didn't get dissed for that Liverpool
Honestly,
game.
yeah. You know what? It's okay. I knew enough Barca fans here to roast, so
two
it's okay.
seasons ago.
You would have been the cherry on top, but you know what? I had to do with what I had in front of me. But anyway, yeah, Moise Kean. I just wanted to say something about Moise Kean. Like last year, I think Koeman was a manager still with Everton when Moise Kean used to play for Everton. I don't remember when he got subbed on and then he got subbed off after
In the
like 17
same
minutes.
game. Yeah,
Yeah,
in
and
the
now he's
same game.
yeah.
Yeah.
And now he's
Karma,
scoring
man.
in the Champions League night. Like, come on, man. Like,
Oh,
That's
he got a
is that
goal,
fate or
but
what?
I felt like Barca gifted him that goal because that was some.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
like out of all the defender, all the goals and all the like goals that Barcelona conceded. I thought that was the one that was the most avoidable.
Yeah,
The other three, all of Mbappe's goal. Like I mean, the first one, I think
first one was insane.
you could blame Longley, but I can't. I
Honestly,
can't.
that's
Knowing
yeah, yeah, that's
how good Mbappe was for that goal, I can't.
that's being harsh on Langley, man. That piece of skill by Mbappe was too good. Like that was borderline undefendable. Like as a defender, you don't see that coming.
Yeah, for sure.
Like he Langley would have either given away a penalty or he lets Mbappe either miss or finish. It's a gamble.
And a penalty
So
there is a definite yellow card.
exactly.
And given how the game went on to be, I don't think Coleman or any other Barcelona player would have wanted Longley on a yellow card there because
Yeah.
nerves just pop up and you can get that second yellow very, very quickly.
Also, like I don't know if you already talked about this with Aboud, but like Barca's midfield and defensive shape was all over the place. Like yeah, Mbappe had a brilliant game. Like obviously that's pretty obvious. But like Barca's midfield was non-existent, and like their defense was all over the place. Like I watched a bit of the game, and it just looked like there was no plan. There was no they weren't compact at the back. Like I don't know what's going on. Is it Coleman out, Abdullah, or
No, not yet,
Not
not yet.
not yet.
yeah?
Honestly, not yet. I'm not gonna be quick to jump the gun on Coman, but like, I just had to this thought to myself even before the game. I'm like thinking, what if we lose? It's gonna be one of those scenarios where like, oh yeah, there's still a second leg. It's the same thing with the Sevilla loss in the cup. There's still a second leg, but why does it always have to get to this point?
Yeah.
Why do we have to lose the first leg every time and hope for a remontada in the second leg every single damn important game? Like it
And
doesn't make any
for
sense.
the last 4 or 5 years, it hasn't really been working, has it?
You know,
I mean, over the last 4 or 5 years, like they've been pretty good in the first leg, but then the second leg screws them over. So like,
Not
what do you do in that
always.
position?
Not
I
always.
mean, it was the case with Liverpool, and I think with
Roma.
against Roma.
Roma,
Roma.
yeah,
Liverpool and
That's
Roma,
4-1,
that was the
4-1
case, yeah.
against Roma, and the
Yeah,
and the
that's
3-0
pretty
against
significant,
Liverpool.
man. That's 2 out of the last like what 4 years or so. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Since the PSG 2016 comeback, it's been
yeah,
downhill
Even
horribly.
downhill.
that season itself,
Yeah,
didn't Barca go out and lose
against Juve.
against Juve, right? The
Yeah, 3-0,
3-0.
3-0. When Matthew started with Mascherano and
Yeah, 3-0 and then
Good
nil
times.
nil.
I remember.
Matthew.
Without Busquets, I think that game was.
Yeah. Talking about midfield, yeah, we already talked about Barcelona's shortcomings in midfield, but what about Verratti, Idrissa Ganagay, and Paredes? Like, how good were they? Isn't this just to stop right here? Like, PSG have signed these big names, right? They signed Mbappe, they signed Neymar, but then they have players like Gay and Paredes, which they're not household names. Isn't this like a galactical setup that they have, which is working? Because I felt like all the star names in midfield, and those guys were the best.
No, Pochettino set them up well, and it's another case of team over individual brilliance in that case, and the three worked collectively amazing for Paris Saint-Germain and pressing Barca up high the pitch, and we saw how many times Barca got dispossessed in the midfield today, and that's credit to those three, and they were brilliant today. They were brilliant. They were a nightmare in that midfield, creating chances, intercepting balls, quick on the counter attacks, smart with the decision making, especially Verratti with that assist for Mbappe.
Also,
Incredible
Paredes
performance.
assist as well.
Even
That was
him, Paredes, and
yeah.
and he barely he's recently been starting for the Argentina national team as well, but he's never been, like you said, the household name as well. But
Yeah.
like today, he was brilliant. Today, he was immense for Paris Saint Germain.
So we get to Kurzawa now, and let's talk about that penalty incident. Do you think it's a penalty
It's
in a
soft
game of
contact.
of
It's soft
football?
contact.
Do you think it's a penalty?
I've seen worse given before, so of course I'm
I
gonna
mean,
have to
with
mention.
VAR, we've seen, people breathing on each other, which have resulted in penalties. but we can't take the standard to be what's the worst, right? Our standard needs to be somewhere like reasonable, like
Of course.
yeah.
You need to have a certain criteria and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
don't look
so
at the bad
you
examples.
think
But
you think about it, like they're both running, they're both looking at the ball, right? De Jong's also looking at the ball, and Kurzawa's also looking at the ball, and there's contact. There's definite contact. No one's denying that. And it's not on the standing leg, all right. So it just off like balances him, and Kurzawa goes on to win the header as well, all right. But that's given as a penalty in a round of 16 tie. Now, if this same thing happens in the semi-final or in the final, can you imagine the ramifications of such a big decision on such a soft call?
no, I can see your point. And if this was a final, I doubt it would have been given. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
but there was contact, and he did disrupt De Jong from going towards the ball, accidental or not. It did disrupt him from going towards it, and the contact was there, and they reviewed it on VAR as well. So, the referee was close to it, and I
I
guess they
think
gave
once
it.
it's
But
given, right? Once it's given and there's contact, that's all that the VAR is checking for in a penalty. When VAR checks for the penalty appeal, it doesn't really go and check, oh, you know, like doesn't actually go and check the technicalities, like, oh, where's De Jong running or where's Kurzawa running. They just check for the minimal contact. They're like, yep, there's contact, we're good to go, let's go, right? Um, so I not a lot can be said about VAR's involvement there. But when we speak of involvement, we can speak about one man today, Kylian Mbappe. How did his audition for Real Madrid go?
You mean Liverpool?
oh,
You guys couldn't sign a center back in 2 months. Please be quiet.
Don't worry. Maybe things will look differently in the summer. FSG will pull out the money. You know what I'm saying? Money from
Sure.
the bank. They're cash in like Edge. You know.
now they let him run. They let him run like loose today. He was
Yeah.
free roaming in the box alone, picking his spots, trying to look for the chance to finish it. No one was marking him. Completely outclassed everyone. Headache on the right. Like, he changed from the left to the center when he noticed things
Yeah.
were a little bit closed, and that kind of shook things around for Barca as well. They couldn't contain him when
When
that happened.
when he started in drifting a lot more, what else happened is that PSG got Kurzawa involved as well. Because in the first 20 minutes, what I saw, and I made this comment to myself, is like, you see Florenzi and Kurzawa going, and they never got the ball. You can go watch like the tape back, right? Florenzi and Kurzawa are making those runs. Either the passes were overhit, or they didn't get them, right? But as soon as Mbappe got off the touchline, moved centrally a bit, or made his runs inwards rather than outwards, they got those fullbacks involved, and that led to Mbappe's first goal as well. But for me, I don't know if I haven't seen Mbappe in so long, but those are shades of Cristiano Ronaldo there today.
No, I agree. He picked his moments. He was there when he should have been there, and finished when the ball got to him in those crucial positions. He was clinical today, and I saw the same thing. I saw the shades of Cristiano Ronaldo. I can see the point.
Running at defenders, counter attacking, especially
False winger, a false winger in a way as
false
well.
winger. Yeah.
So
Also, the way PSG were set up was a lot like Madrid 2013, 2014. Or sorry, 2012, 2013 actually, more so.
When they were under Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, the last season under Jose Mourinho, where Madrid had Barcelona's better number. Ronaldo just running off the ball. I thought that was a lot like him today. I think his audition went pretty well. Personally, I think this is probably the best club game I've seen him
Yeah.
since his Monaco days, especially in the Champions League. Because let's be fair, not a lot of people watch Ligue 1, right? It's somewhat of a joke. Sometimes you think the defenders falling over is just satire, with all due respect, right? They are professional footballers and they do that for a living.
Maybe
But
we should be joining the League One at this form, to be honest. Since falling over is a common pattern.
yeah, so um, but like, he was actually on a goal drought. You know,
Yeah.
he
I
was
remember
on a
last time
he was on a goal drought since
February.
last December or February, right?
February 2019 hasn't
February,
scored
yeah,
since. And I knew
and
it was going to get broken.
he
I knew
scored
it.
a hat trick today. It didn't look like a guy on a goal drought. Definitely not against a team like Barcelona.
No, it didn't. It didn't. And I knew before the game when I saw that stat, I knew he was going to break that stat. There's another stat also. Paris Saint-Germain is the first French team to beat Barcelona in the Camp Nou in the Champions League history.
Oh wow.
The
Wow,
first
that
the
is a
first team in
stat.
Champions League, but there's been a French team, Metz, who beat Barcelona in the European Cup in 1984. They beat them 4-1, so that was the first loss in the Camp Nou
Deja
to a
vu.
French team in Europe. But this is the first Champions League loss in the knockouts to like a French team, to a French team in the Champions League in general at the Camp Nou. So I knew these records were going to be broken. There's a lot of that seems to be a pattern with Ronald Koeman's Barcelona this season. We've been breaking a lot of.
I just wanna share you something. It's not as an interesting stat that what you've shared, but Florentino Perez and Mbappe are both trending. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so.
And you're getting hyped for no reason because Liverpool's coming for Mbappe either way.
You
So
listen. I saw all of you Liverpool fans
no
crying
delusion.
of uh, of like dreams of getting a center back over the winter transfer window. If you think you guys are gonna shell out 160 million for Mbappe, then sweet
What if we
dreams.
do? What if we do? What if? What if some crazy shit happens? Then what?
Ifs and buts. But looking
To be
financially,
to
looking
be
at
fair,
financially, Madrid are in a better position
I
than
mean,
Liverpool.
I mean, yeah, probably, but like at this point, like, who really is in a good financial position? On like nobody.
A team that didn't make any transfers last two windows,
I
or
mean,
last three
Liverpool.
windows, in fact.
Liverpool have made like two transfers, like significant transfers in like the last like 3 years or something. So
I mean, you guys have made 20 million, 30 million, 20 million, 30 million signings throughout.
yeah, I mean, it's
We sold 90 million worth of talent in summer, and bought
yeah,
no
that's the
one.
thing, right? I'm obviously taking the piss, but like a man can dream. You have to dream big, you know. Obviously, like if he's gonna go somewhere, it's probably gonna be Madrid. But do you think like if PSG, let's say they win the Champions League and all that stuff, do you think Mbappe still is gonna leave PSG, especially under Pochettino? Because Pochettino is a pretty good manager. Let's be honest.
Yeah, he like Pochettino is a great manager. I think he is still one of the best. It's unfortunate that his time at Spurs, but I thought he was always bigger than Spurs. The fact that he even got them to Champions League final, that was
Yeah,
an
that was
an
crazy. Yeah,
immense achievement, and the road that was taken to that Champions League final was also crazy, and that would be the only possible means for perhaps for Spurs to even get there in the first place. But you look at the overall status of the club, you look at the overall state of PSG, and you compare it to Real Madrid, right? Um, Mbappe is still number two at Neymar's club. All right, it is Neymar's
yeah,
entourage at PSG. He will, even though he's the one that's French, he's still not the main guy, right? There are rumors of a certain Lionel Messi being linked to PSG. There are rumors of Sergio Ramos being linked to PSG's, even though they might not be true. Okay, it just shows that Mbappe or the French media, they don't look at Mbappe as the main guy, and as being the number seven, there might be a position for him at Real Madrid.
maybe. But how did the last number seven after Ronaldo left go, aka Mariano Diaz?
Mari- Mari-
He scored against us. I mean,
I
Mariano
mean, yeah,
Diaz
that's
had
a
a Clasico goal
That's
That's
a pretty
one.
big achievement to
That's
be
one more
honest,
than.
but
That's one more than Lionel Messi in that same time frame.
Oh
ooh,
no.
how does that feel? Abdullah, how does that feel?
Bro, past few years, man, so much pain, bro. I'm immune at this point, to be honest.
It's
But
okay,
today,
man.
I actually the thing is, today I actually had some hope. Like today, I actually pumped up myself before the game. I'm like,
You
yeah, we're gonna
you
do
you
it.
had hope
Honestly,
because Barcelona were playing well in the
honestly,
league.
I thought Barca would turn up today just because Messi was on one. You know, Messi's been on one recently, so I was like, you know what, Barca's gonna turn up today, and PSG is probably gonna lose. But Mbappe had other plans, obviously.
And
So
Langley had other plans.
Yeah, he had other plans,
so
man.
and Koeman only had one plan and he stuck with it throughout.
Don't worry,
So
don't worry. He'll make the changes by the second leg. By the time the second leg approaches.
so
Better late than never.
speaking of the second leg, uh, any hope at all as a fanatic, as a football fanatic, as a Barcelona fanatic? Do you think there is hope after all?
It's football. Of course, there's hope. We've done it before, but it's not the same team.
When
It's not
but
the
when
same
was the
coach
last time? 2016.
4 years,
against the
5 years
same
ago.
team.
Holy shit.
Psychological warfare. That's what they're hoping to count
There's
on. But
VAR this time. A lot of decisions can't slip under the rug this time around.
oh
Here we
wow,
go. Here we go.
where was VAR, man, with Bayern? For you guys,
Well,
offside goals.
sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. It's all right.
No, I miss the UEFA Lona days, man. Back when everyone called us UEFA Lona, man. I
So
miss it.
moving back
times.
to the second leg, um, it's gonna be an away leg, but home and away hasn't kept a significance in the last season and a half. So, do you think Barcelona can score 4 goals at Parc des Princes?
Okay, to be honest with you, this season I've seen Ronald Koeman's Barcelona improve massively in their away form. We've seen them beat the likes of Celta Vigo 3-0 in games where they would lose away from home usually every year under different coaches. They've done well away from home this season. So in terms of looking at it from a statistical perspective and looking at Barcelona this season away from home, there is hope. We've actually been kind of better away from home than at home this season, to be honest. So in terms of that, you could look at it with that Barcelona have a chance. But in terms of scoring 4 goals at the Parc des Princes, that's that's a whole another aspect. And it's not just scoring 4 goals; it's keeping a clean sheet as well. That's a bigger problem in my opinion than scoring the 4 goals in the first place, and especially with Neymar coming back in the second leg.
But that
So
could also backfire for PSG, right? Because Neymar tends to hold up the ball a little bit more, which might be different. They might feel confident going into this leg with the 4-1 lead. It could also work both ways. There might be some players that still carry the scars from 2016. They might remember that, oh, we actually blew that lead, and it can happen again.
it could be, but I wouldn't realistically I wouldn't be thinking that way, to be honest. I wouldn't be thinking that mental aspects such as that. Like Neymar coming back will always cause trouble for Barcelona regardless. And despite Mbappe having problems today, not passing the ball to Kurzawa a few times, ignoring a lot of the runs, I think Neymar does that as well.
Yeah.
So that could be a constant problem as well. But I don't see how that gives us a better chance at winning the game, because we still have to score the 4 goals and we still have to keep the clean sheets. And I don't even know what the lineup will be the next game. By the time we come next time, maybe more injuries, more players out of form. Maybe we're in a better position. We'll see until the next game, I guess. But I don't have a lot of hope, if I'm being honest with you. I'm not gonna be too optimistic about this one, but it's not impossible. It has been done before, and it was harder the last time. It was 4 goals that we overcame.
Abdullah, what are your thoughts on Martin Braithwaite coming on for Barcelona on a European night against Paris Saint-Germain?
I don't see any issue with that, to be honest. But we've already signed the guy. Might as well try to throw him in and attempt a goal. But
The
it's the
subs are
point
there,
that
right?
it's the point. The problem is that that's our only option off the bench in terms of a
Yeah,
9. That's the
that's true.
embarrassing aspect of it.
So
Yeah,
But
Going back to what's it called, Barcelona's chances and Barcelona's season, it could, if you're coming with such less hope, it could all be all over in a week's span, because Barcelona versus Sevilla, second leg in the Copa del Rey, is on 3rd of March, and Paris Saint-Germain return leg versus Barcelona is on the 10th of March. Do you think there will be a psychological aspect there? If they lose out to Sevilla, they could just be all on low morale. Messi doesn't stay. 11th March, everything is announced.
It could go down all and in a week, like you said. True, that could happen, and especially with Sevilla's form, I think they're 17 games unbeaten
Oh
so
wow.
this season.
They have a lot of draws,
So
though.
yeah, a lot
They're
of
just
draws, but
yeah, a lot of draws. Though. They're Arsenaling their way through.
they are, but they're still unbeaten in a way, and they can
Yeah.
easily come to the Camp Nou and hold out a draw or even win. Why not? Like, if Barcelona don't wake up soon, the season could be over in a matter of a week. But I have nothing to say. I don't know what to say anymore.
we, I think you've said enough. Now, let's move on to the Liverpool RB Leipzig game. A
Yes.
2-0 win.
Finally.
Finally a win for Jurgen
Oh
Klopp's
my
man.
God, man.
Finally.
Finally.
After what might seem like an eternity for Liverpool fans, since they were so used to winning last season,
Now
and
we're still losing.
and now a win is like a Christmas gift for them. It's 2-0 win, Ali, over a decent performance by RB Leipzig. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. What are my thoughts on Liverpool's performance or Leipzig's performance first?
The whole game.
So as a whole, it was a pretty good game. Like if you were neutral, it was a pretty good game. It was sort of back and forth in a way, but obviously Liverpool controlled like the majority of the game. Like even at the end of the game, Liverpool had more possession and all that stuff. But obviously, like the two goals Liverpool scored were through Leipzig's mistakes.
Mistakes,
But
yeah.
then again, yeah. But then again, like Liverpool, since like the first minute, they were pressing really well. It was like watching Liverpool's 2018, 2019 side when they were just pressing like crazy.
They were
That's pretty
relentless.
much, yeah, they were relentless. Yeah, exactly. The pressing is what caused the mistakes from Leipzig, right? Like people are gonna be like, oh yeah, you know what, Leipzig this, Leipzig that, but like their pressing was insane, and that's what caused the mistakes, and that's what Jurgen Klopp does. He presses and he brings out mistakes from other teams, and Mane and Salah luckily pounced today and they finished the chances. It's pretty much been like consistency in terms of Liverpool not taking their chances. It's today they took their chances. Luckily, Salah and Mane were clinical, and you know what? The game looked completely different. Also, I do want to give a special shout out to Ozan Kabak. He had a brilliant game. 20-year-old, second game starting for Liverpool, and he was aggressive in the tackles. He was good with bringing the ball out from the back. He was good in the air. He made good decisions. He covered for Jordan Henderson pretty well, who's not a center back, obviously, as everyone knows. So Ozan Kabak had a brilliant game. Thiago also had a really good game today. It was like he was always like one step ahead of everyone else. All the other midfielders that were playing for Leipzig and that were playing for Liverpool. But at the same time, Curtis Jones had a really good game as well. He's turning out to be a really good talent for Liverpool, and the future does look bright when it comes to Curtis Jones. And like I'm sure he can learn a lot from Thiago as well, because
Going going back
Thiago
to
is
Kabak just for a second.
yeah.
I had both the games on, so I was actually watching Liverpool's as well. I caught my eye for the screen for 30 seconds and time again, and every time I saw a surety from Kabak.
Yeah.
Right. I thought defensively he was probably Liverpool's best player.
Yeah.
Better than Trent, better than Henderson and Robertson. Now, you said you mentioned 20 years old, and all I could think about was Joe Gomez's mistakes. I don't know. This is something that came into my mind. I thought, like, just based on this game, and it's very premature, but you can't stop scenarios once they creep up in your head. I just thought maybe in the future he could be the starting partner with Virgil van Dijk.
I mean, the thing is, right? Like you say that, but this was one game, and like I get what you're saying, but at the same time, like the partnership between Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk has been immense. You know, like they won the Champions. No, Matip. I
But
mean, to
they're
be fair,
gonna
it was
be,
Matip
you
and
know,
Van Dijk.
they're gonna be broken up for a year. All right, you break up with your girlfriend for a year, it's never gonna be the same. It's just like the center half's like closer than your girlfriend at times.
I mean, true love never disappears, but honestly, like you're right, right? But at the same time, like if you remember the 18-19 season when Joe Gomez and Van Dijk they conceded like 20 goals all year or something like that.
Yeah.
They should have won the league, but anyway, whatever. So like yeah, you know what? If Liverpool do decide to sign Kabak in the summer and they finalize the deal, that could be a pretty good deal given the fact that Matip is injury prone, and it gives Liverpool a really good backup for Gomez and Kabak, because Matip like is always injured, obviously. So like maybe if Liverpool can sign another center back, and we can have like maybe we can follow a little bit what City's doing, where City has like really good options at center back with Ruben Diaz and like Laporte and John Stones. Walker plays center back sometimes for them, so they have like four really good center back options. And I feel like if Liverpool can sign Kabak, if he decides to turn up like he did today regularly until the season ends, like he can be a really good bargain, because I think the buyout clause is like 18 million or something, which if you judge that price to his performance today, like it seems like a bargain, you know?
Yeah.
So like yeah, you know what? If Liverpool can get the deal ready to go, then we can have good backup for center backs, because next season we can have Van Dijk back. There's not going to be that much pressure on Matip starting either. The load is going to be like really lessened up, I guess, in a way because of Gomez and Kabak as
Yeah.
backups. So yeah,
Now you mentioned how good Curtis Jones was.
yeah.
I thought he was. Well, I saw Mane play, and I think the man of the match award was actually given to Mane.
No, it was given to Salah.
It was given to Salah.
Yeah.
Well, either way, I personally, as a team's point of view, and from a coach, perhaps a coach's point of view, uh, looking at the shape and the way a player affects the game, I thought Curtis Jones was probably the best player on the park today. In my
Yeah,
in my opinion,
you know what?
given
That's a good
how
shout.
because given how he was, right now in midfield we see like with the signing of Thiago and Henderson being played out of position, he belongs in the midfield as well. Fabinho out. Liverpool seem to be developing quite the depth in the midfield for future seasons. Do you think Curtis Jones next season, if everyone starts fit, um, he has a place in the side?
As a starter.
Just in, do you think as a starter or coming off the bench or starting one game, rotation policy, do you think he has, because I would think that Liverpool fans and Jurgen Klopp's life has been made much easier to cut off Gini Wijnaldum. That's what I'm thinking after today's game.
You know what? You talked about like squad depth in terms of the midfield for Liverpool, and like I was thinking about this. Like I've thought about this throughout the season, quite often, because yeah, our depth in
I
midfield
even
looks
forgot Naby
insane.
Keita.
Yeah. I was about to get to that. Our squad and our depth in midfield looks insane. We have like Oxley Chamberlain, who had a um, pretty okay performance today. He looked a little clumsy, but that's okay. He's not really match sharp yet. We have Naby Keita, Fabinho, Thiago, Curtis Jones, as you said. Gini Wijnaldum is probably going to leave, and we'll probably replace him. And then we have Henderson. So like our midfield looks insane. And yeah, you know what? Next season we definitely have the option to like rotate with confidence. And like people have criticized Jurgen Klopp in the past for his rotation policy, but in terms of their midfield, I feel like Jurgen Klopp is 100% gonna start rotating next season. He's already started rotating this season as well with Thiago coming in today, and he didn't start against Leicester the other day. So like he's already doing his thing. Shaqiri is also another choice, who can play midfield. He's not that good in midfield, but like he's another option if everything goes to shit. So like yeah, our midfield depth looks really good. It's looking good as of now.
Would
Well,
you be
let's
would you be sad about Wijnaldum going, given that all that he did for the club?
yes and no. Yes, because like he's been here since the beginning. I think I touched on this
I mean,
before,
if
but
the
like
beginning's in 2016, then yeah, sure.
I mean, like that's when Klopp came, right?
Usually people are like the beginning, 2004, or like it's been there for 20 years. Like
Yeah,
5 years is not a beginning. I mean,
I mean, look, right?
Lucas
5 years, like,
Vasquez has been longer in Madrid for the, like. I mean, come on, these
look,
are not
like
the,
for
the standards we carry around for the beginning.
I mean, look, right? The thing is, what I mean by beginning is Klopp's beginning as Liverpool manager, which was really significant in Liverpool's history, right? Klopp came in, and Wijnaldum was one of his first ever signings, and he got criticized, Newcastle reject, this and that, and like he came in and he was integral to us finishing top four in 2016, and then we made the final in the 2017-18 season. So like he honestly, like I'm gonna miss him a lot just because he's done a lot for the club. He's scored some crucial games. Not to rub salt in the wounds for Abdullah, but but he has scored some crucial games.
The guy didn't even start that match, like
Yeah,
that's
he came on as a
that
sub,
that's
right?
how much you need to know. He wasn't even a first choice. It's just due to a freak injury, he came off.
Yeah, it's just
It's a
Luis
fr-
Suarez injured Robertson. And shit happened. It's just, man, it's just some things were just meant to be that day. It was just meant to be for Liverpool. But like, yeah, you know what? I will miss him, but at the same time, like I don't really know what he brings to the midfield in terms of like creativity. Like if he continues to play the role he played today in the number six, then it's fine. He does his job pretty well. Like he beats the press
But
well.
he's not. But he's really not like a number six player now, is he? He's a
Yeah,
late
he's not.
arriving finisher, the way Koeman used to use him,
Yeah, and
for
for
Netherlands, for like that was. I felt like whenever I used to watch him play there, I was like, yeah, this is just like watching that 4-0 game all over again, like on repeat. That this guy runs in the box and
even against
scores those
Atletico
goals.
Madrid, he scored the first goal, the header against Atletico at Anfield. He scored the first goal for Klopp used him in that role, so he is fully capable of doing that. It's just Klopp doesn't really use him in that role quite often. So in that case, he's going to waste. Maybe Koeman will probably make better use of him at Barcelona. Maybe he could add some
What?
new. What?
Is he
Pardon
signing
me?
for Barcelona?
Yeah, he was linked with
Yeah,
Barcelona all
he
season
might
Oh,
be.
he
long.
was linked. I thought that passed. Is that back
Oh no,
again?
no, he's probably gonna go Barcelona for free.
It's because he's a free transfer, and
Yeah.
given Barcelona's crippling debt, Barcelona might not have many chances to sign anyone this season. In fact, Barcelona will be very, very lucky if they can hold on to Messi, given their debt, because I believe they are the most indebted club in the world right now, in the European club, and with like 1.1 billion.
That's due to the
So
way the club has been run for the last few years, right?
Yeah,
I
under
yeah,
don't.
Bartomeu's fantastic leadership.
Too good, too good. Jordan Henderson-esque leadership qualities.
well, good thing he wasn't shouting at Thiago Alcantara today.
Yeah. Thiago didn't really give him a reason to shout at him, but I also want to talk about like Allison as well today. Allison made a really good save in the first half. Um, he was pretty good today, but like his confidence is not there. You can tell like he's rushing his long passes. He's not
Yeah,
making his long passes. He's
him
obviously shot
coming
of
out of the
confidence.
box, him coming out of the box for clearances. Usually he would try to control the ball as well. You
Yeah,
know, I think in the first 5 or 10 minutes there was this like sort of a clearance that came his way, and he just came out of the box and just bazookaed it. He did not think to like, all right, let me
yeah.
get this ball under control, let me pass it around. He just smashed it.
That's what happens, right?
And
When you have a lot
out
of confidence.
and yeah, you could tell that something's really broken the man, and it'll take some time to get him fixed up.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not worried about him because like he's a top class goalkeeper. Like when I joined the podcast today, Abdullah was talking about like Barcelona fans talking shit about Ter Stegen. Like, people need to calm down a little bit. Like, people need to realize that these guys are humans. They're not some machines. Like look at us, man. We make so many mistakes in our regular lives. Like these guys are playing like at the top level, and like obviously, they're gonna make mistakes. I don't know why fans are so like reactionary to these little mistakes. But Trent also had a really good game today, man. Defensively, he was
Yeah,
solid. He was pressing really
but
well.
something that we haven't seen in the league, at least from Trent. In the league, he's been shut down a lot creatively, right? And attacking,
Yeah,
like managers come up with a defensive plan to make their center midfielders push out wide rather than come deep against Liverpool. They push out wide, stop Robertson and Trent, track them down, and then they have their own fullbacks as a cover, as a second layer. But
man,
today,
Trent's yeah, like Trent's like you talk about like Trent being um maybe like I've I don't really know the correct word, but like he's been pretty neutralized by the opposition in the league. But that's a little bit due to the positions like Klopp has told him to take this season because of our injuries. Obviously, like it always like ends up coming back to injuries, but it is true. No matter how much we talk about it, it is true. Like there's no Gomez or Van Dijk or Henderson in midfield to cover for Trent, right? So I noticed that as well in the beginning of the season. Like Trent wasn't attacking as much. He wasn't taking those attacking positions. He was staying back a little bit. He wasn't really confident in his game as well. But today, like he played really well. He was making those runs. He was winning second balls. Defensively, he was looking solid. So like I guess like we are gonna see fluctuation from like players like Trent quite often just because of the cross Liverpool is in a little bit. But all in all, yeah, he had a really good game. And like his when he's playing well, and like when he's on one, you can see the difference in the way Liverpool attack. Yeah, he's pretty influential in terms of like the attack of Liverpool. But like in Leipzig also had really good chances in the game, man. Angelino had good chances. Like he just shot blindly and the ball was going nowhere. Juan Hee-chan
um,
had a chance at the end where he
yeah,
missed. That was a huge chance that could have turned the tie around. So yeah, Leipzig had pretty good chances. And also, I do want to touch on Mo Salah for a little bit. I've never seen Mo Salah defend ever. Today he was tracking back and helping out Trent. I was kind of I was kind of shocked because like he was coming back, he was winning headers, like all that stuff. So like Mo Salah, people like praise Mane for doing that job, but Mo Salah was amazing today, man. His all around play today defensively and in the attack was insane. I was really impressed by him today.
well, not only that, but his counterpart on the left wing,
Oh
Sadio
yeah,
Mane.
Sadio Mane, yeah.
In the first half, he looked like a, how should I say this nicely? He looked like he was playing on ice at times,
Yeah.
in the first half. But second half, I guess he found his ice skates and, managed to control the situation very, very well. In the second half, I think this was probably one of the better games, if not the best, Sadio Mane has had this season so far.
Yeah, he's been another one that's been really on and off. He started this season off really well against like Everton and against Chelsea and like a few other games, but then obviously he fell off as time went on, because Liverpool fell off as well. But yeah, today he was insane. Like he was pressing well again. He always presses well. To be honest, he works hard no matter what. Like yeah, his finishing touches has been lacking this season, but like overall, he's always there. He's always trying his hardest. So you know what? That's always a plus sign in these tough times for Liverpool.
Did Firmino's game concern you?
Honestly, Firmino had a pretty okay game today. Like he was,
I would say that's putting it nicely.
yeah. I mean, look, right? Like he gave away the ball like quite often, but that was due to like Leipzig's press. Like Leipzig were onto him as soon as he got the ball, right? Like Klopp plays him in that false nine role, and like he drops back. He tries to hold the ball off for Mane and Salah to run in, and like yeah, I don't know, man. Firmino in that false nine role, like he I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's always been this slow, like in terms of his pace, but like he looks like he's lacking pace. when
I
he's
mean,
running into the
he is
ball.
turning the corner to almost being 30.
Yeah, that's true as well. But like, yeah, you know what? He just lacks the little bit of pace. He's like, obviously he does bring a lot to the team in terms of like bringing Mane and Salah into the attack. But all in all, he had an okay game. Nothing like too extravagant, but nothing too shitty either. I guess it was alright.
So
Whatever.
if it's not for the mistakes of RB Leipzig's defenders, did you think at any moment in time as like a Liverpool fan watching this game, like, oh, we're actually gonna break this deadlock?
Yeah, that's actually been the case. Like if you watch their
Given like how the form's been in the league, seeing this pattern time and time again, right? Like you see that like, oh, we're getting chances but we're not scoring. Because for me, in all honesty, as I've been following Liverpool, like their games in the league too, and I've noticed that I felt like maybe that pattern is gonna repeat here again tonight.
Yeah, like obviously it's been like a recurring theme in terms of like you watch Liverpool and it just looks like they're not going to be creating any like clear cut chances, right? But today, like they were playing well, man. Even against Leicester, honestly, Liverpool's biggest downfall has been their finishing. They do get into good positions, but it's just that either the lack of like killer instinct by whoever's passing the ball or by whoever's in the box. But also today, like Liverpool was attacking with more players going forward. There was like 5 or 6 players going forward, whereas before in the past against low blocks, there was only like Mane and Salah just sitting there in the box with Trent whipping the crosses in blindly. So like today there was more intent by like everyone. There were more bodies in the box, so that did help with chance creation. Obviously, we got a little lucky with Leipzig's mistakes, but you know, Leicester and City got lucky with Liverpool's mistakes in the last
Yeah.
2 games. So it is what it is. Obviously, as a Liverpool fan, I'll take it. At this point, I really don't give a shit.
Well, 2-0 isn't a huge score line, right? Um, there's still a full 90 minutes to play. Are you
Yeah,
confident on Liverpool's chances going forward?
yeah, it's at Anfield, so we should be pretty comfortable.
Is it the same Anfield that Diego Simeone's men visited?
Yeah, yeah, it's not the same Anfield, obviously, because there's no fans or anything like that. But like, if they play with the same defensive assurity as they did today, then Liverpool are they'll walk the game. Also, like by that time, Jota, Keita, and Fabinho will be back, so that's really good signs for Liverpool. So
Perhaps
yeah,
if Angelino's accuracy of shooting and passing is back, I
mm,
would believe that alone would be enough to trouble Liverpool.
yeah, maybe like Klopp needs to tinker with the formation to maybe like neutralize Angelino on the left hand side because that's where Leipzig's attacks coming from. For
I
most
mean,
of the
the guy
time.
had at least 3 or 4
Yeah, yeah,
chances
yeah.
that he just almost threw for, kicked it out for throw-ins.
Yeah, he should have at least hit the target, but it just wasn't happening for them, and it happened for us today. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
Everyone had a pretty solid game.
and second leg is still like 2 weeks away, so a lot of thinking time for Jurgen Klopp and his
Yeah,
coaching staff.
yeah, yeah. We also have really huge games coming up against Everton this weekend, so you have to take that into consideration as well. That's why like he took off Thiago, and Leipzig sort of grew into the game after he took off Thiago, which is fine. It had to be done. So big game against Everton, and like this will bring confidence into the players, and let's see how it is. We go again.
All right, boys. Any other thoughts for tonight's Champions League games or moving into the future?
So far, so good, man.
So far, so shit, man.
Well, quite the contradictory thoughts. However, for neutrals, it was a great day to have the best competition um, back on air. Thank you everyone for joining us. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you disagreed with something or would like to have your say, feel free to comment below. And always show the love and subscribe. And until next time, we will catch you in the next half.
Peace out.